All right. Hopefully this is working. It's a little weird this morning the way I'm doing this. All right. Okay, we got. Trying to get a good view here, folks. So let's see if anybody finds me over here because I don't know how the comments come up. I don't see any comments. If anybody makes a comment, it would be helpful. Just say hello or something like that, and I'll see if the. There we go. We got it. Robert P. First one. Happy Easter, Robert. Happy Easter to everybody watching, and of course, I will say individual Happy Easters as well. Hello, Happy Easter, Happy Easter. Um, we got James Farley, Mike Walljasper. I can't. When I'm doing this, Dino, hello, Greg Rappa. Yeah, I can't bring your comments up here. I don't know how on YouTube. I'm not doing StreamYard today. So, hi, Andrea. All right, so this is a last minute thing, a surprise here, really. I am in a classroom. That's not going to stop people from asking me, 14 times during this live stream, where are you? Stuff like that. I'm at a classroom here, an empty classroom. And just last minute decided to do this. Matchstick Man, CD Man. The camera's flipped. What does that mean? Sideways? Am I sideways? I'm mixed up, folks. Let me. What's the deal? Am I horizontal? That's what I want to know, really. Hello, Yorkie girl. Happy Easter. First thing I want to know is. I hear people talking outside. All right, so everything's okay then. It's backwards. I don't know why it's backwards. I don't. I don't understand that. Hey, what's up, Mikey Tats? What's up, Joy Boy? Happy Easter. And yeah, so let's get rolling here. I don't know why. I don't know how to flip the camera around. I have you say it's mirrored, right? It's backwards, like kind of thing. Now Andrea says looks fine and horizontal. I don't know. Let me know if I'm. Are the words backwards up there? Can you read the words? All these words. One of them says imagine, I think. And Robert P. was a substitute teacher. I didn't know this. I love the song Watching the Wheels. Watching the Wheels. Hello, Brad. Somebody may come in here. I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah, so we're looking through a mirror. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know. Figures. I do have a control here that has like a circular thing, but I think that's. I can try it, but I think what that's going to do is it's going to. Let's just find. I think it's going to like show you the view behind me. Let's see. Yep, just like I thought. By the way, if you want to know what this is, it's a statue. It's a statue. I got a statue, like a little statue thing, leaning the camera against it. Let's see if we can find out any other. What's this? What's this? I don't know what this is. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to figure it all out. I don't know. I really don't know what kind of classroom it is, honestly. Yeah, I really don't know. Yeah, I remember the first time I heard Watching the Wheels. Yep, yep. When I first got the Double Fantasy album. Well, my friend actually got the Double Fantasy album. He got it early, and I heard the songs. I was kind of disappointed, really. I didn't think, I expected a little more oomph from John on the first listen. But I did like Watching the Wheels right away because it was autobiographical. Told you what he was up to all those years, and I liked that right away. Hello, Charlie. Yeah, the words are backwards behind me. Oh, yeah. Hello, Eric. Yeah, I'm up here. There's a lot of people outside, I guess, for Easter here. So, what's going on, folks? Hello, Chrissy. Happy Easter. Yeah, I don't usually like doing two live streams anymore, 2 days in a row. I did one yesterday. I did my regular catch up with Mayo yesterday. I hope we get a Mal version. Uh, okay, I'm still not sure about the Chicago Fest. All I can tell you is I do have a room reserved. I can always cancel the reservation if I wind up not going, but I do have a room reserved right now, and hopefully I'll be able to go. Yeah, maybe there'll be an Easter egg on here. I got like kids outside walking around. It's a pretty nice day for Easter, you know. You want to have a sunny day on Easter. Yeah, with the thing with the anthology, really, we really don't know what's going to happen. We really don't know, and it's not officially, of course, as you know, I'm sure, it's not officially announced yet. Yes, Eric, it was very nice to have John back when Double Fantasy came out. Yeah, it was just our happiness and excitement for John's return was very short-lived. You know, sadly. Yeah. And James is singing my song in the good old summertime. I know my voice is terrible. Terrible singing voice. Terrible speaking voice. I don't know many people out there who like the sounds of their voice speaking voice. I don't know many. I don't know many. Have the anthology the three albums been remastered already? I don't know. You know more than I do on that one. I don't know. Oh, there's a big. Remember one time I did one of these and there was a wasp in another room, but oh, thank you, Chrissy. I appreciate that. That's nice of you to say. Chrissy at least doesn't think I have a terrible voice, but everybody who likes the sound of their own voice, I mean, I don't know. Wow, the 1-to-1 movie's not playing anywhere near Greg. Exactly. Yeah, Eric. When you hear your voice played back on a tape recorder for the first time or something, or whether it's YouTube or some kind of recording device. It's not always happy. Well, I can't tell yet if the wasp is inside or outside, but I heard it making noise. I think it's inside. I saw something flying by the big window, but I heard it buzzing, and it was outside. I don't think I would have heard it. Who knows? There's always something. Always something. The hell was that? Heard a bang. Dino, well, I don't know. I'm not gonna. If it stays by the window and leaves me alone. How many years do you think the fest has left? I really don't know. It's hard to say because I feel the fest for Beatles fans, though I love going, is on its last legs. But then again, you don't know. Maybe they'll change it up. Maybe somebody will change running it. You know, they'll pass the baton to somebody else, maybe. Because I know Mark Lapidus is getting up there, but he's still running it. I mean, I didn't think it would go this far. I really didn't. I thought after the 60th anniversary, a lot of people surmised that at the end of the 60th anniversary celebration, 2024, of them coming to the U.S., that would be probably the last one, but thankfully it's not. Okay, thank you, Nick, for that information. Yeah, I don't know about that Who song. Oh, I can't agree with you. I really don't, I can't stand extra texture. I'm sorry. I just can't. George's voice is particularly bad. I can't, man, I don't know. I do that for a laugh. But we can wonder forever. That's what I was doing in my video, Nick. I was speculating. Do you think we'll get a new anthology? Do you think it'll be remastered or remixed, or will there be more stuff? Highly speculative. Extra texture should have been an EP. I agree on that one. What are your thoughts on Zach and the Who? Well, the thing about Zach is, first he got fired from the Who, and then he was immediately taken back. So I really don't know what to think. I like the first three songs on Extra Texture. Those are my favorite. I like You. And when I say I like the song You, it's not one of my all-time favorites. I don't think it's a great song. I mean, he still goes in this song. He doesn't sing it well, and there's not many words, But I do like the song enough, and I do like Answers at the End, and I do like my favorite song on the album, This Guitar Can't Keep From Crying. And that's pretty much it for that album for me. Yeah, I might like Dark Horse a little bit. It's funny though, I don't know, because I can listen to more of Dark Horse than I can Extra Texture. I can listen to and enjoy more of Dark Horse than Extra Texture. But having said that, I don't think there's a song that's as good as This Guitar Can't Keep From Crying on Dark Horse. Simply Shady, maybe. Simply Shady is probably my favorite song off Dark Horse. Yep, the wasp is inside. Son of a beehive. Son of a beehive. That wasp is inside. And it's not the same room as the other room that I went in that time. Do I think there should have been a full new song from Anthology 3? Well, looking back on it, no. I mean, there should have been. Now and Then should have been on it, but they couldn't get a good recording of Now and Then, and George didn't like it, and etc. So the way it sounds now, the way Now and Then is now, should definitely be on there. I'm just hoping that this wasp stays by the window and doesn't fly over here. Oy vey. What's my favorite disco song? Hot Stuff by Donna Summer, but I also love Get Down Tonight by Casey and the Sunshine Band. That's one of my favorite disco songs. And George McRae, Rock Your Baby, if you consider that disco. It's earlier disco. Okay, Robert P., have a good day with you and your huge family. You'd love to hear a Beatles version of Grow Old With Me? Maybe. Pete Townsend was the peacemaker in getting Zach back. Seems like Roger Daltrey is the one with the bug up his ass about that. From what I understand, from what people have said to me, you know. Nothing new about Magical Mystery Tour. They seem to be ignoring that. They did put out a little kind of box set, but it wasn't a really good remixed. Oh, there's those words again. Deluxe set. Yeah, Boogie Nights. I like that song by Heatwave. Ain't no doubt we are here to party. Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights. Roger Daltrey was a hothead when he was young. I didn't know that. What's my favorite hard rock band? Oh, what do you consider hard rock? Led Zeppelin, I guess. Would you call Led Zeppelin hard rock? If so, you know, I pick that. Hello, Elliot. Oh, I got a buzz. There's a buzz there. Are you still holding out? The rest of the McCartney, or at least the important ones, get reissued? Yeah, I'm still believing that. I believe we're going to, at the very least, this is my prediction, you know, official prediction. When it comes to the McCartney Deluxe Archive series, I think we're going to at least get London Town and Back to the Egg to finish off Wings. Whether we'll get any more after that, I don't know. But I'm still of the belief that we're going to get it, even though it's been a long delay. I believe we're going to get the two Wings albums we're missing. I can't imagine at this point that after all they put out, or all Paul has sanctioned, that we're not going to at least get the Wings full collection. Time for a cough drop. I had some breakfast here. I had eggs. What's my favorite Led Zeppelin song? Oh, a good question. It's hard to pick one, really. You know, Stairway to Heaven could be my favorite, but I always say Kashmir. I think Kashmir is my favorite. I love Stairway to Heaven. I love A Whole Lot of Love. I love Heartbreaker, Living, Lovin' Made, Together. Cough drop. Let's do the cough drop. Hello, Scott. Steinheim, excuse me. I don't think I heard this. Jack Douglas said he has 1980 versions of John doing I Want to Hold Your Hand and She Loves You rehearsing for his upcoming tour. Do you consider Joan Jett hard rock? Well, if Joan Jett is hard rock, that's my favorite hard rock. But yeah, she can be hard rock sometimes. Yeah. Tonight is the David Peel tribute show on Houston Street in the city, New York, Parkside Lounge. No, well, I know George sued Ringo. I didn't know that Ringo sued George, but I know that George sued Ringo. George didn't like the mix that was used of his song, I'll Still Love You. I can't say I like AC/DC. I just can't say that. There's a couple of songs I like, but does that mean I really like them? I don't know. I don't think so. Ramble on. There's a lot of good Zeppelin songs. See, I could say I like Led Zeppelin because I like a lot of their songs. Yeah, I got a couple, 2 or 3 David Peel albums. Yeah, finally, I gave Elliot a heads up. Usually, Elliot always has the news. Sometimes he gives me news I've already known, but sometimes I don't know it. Um, yes, I do like Guns N' Roses. I like enough of Guns N' Roses to say I like them generally. Sorry about the cough drop, folks. Hard to do a live stream with a cough drop. Connected to the bottom of my glasses. Favorite Guns N' Roses song? Oh, I'm trying to think. There's a few, but which one is? I think I used to love her. I think, even though I realize now that's a cover song, which I didn't know. Yes, I saw the new videos, James. Very fun. Yeah, I'm sorry, by the way, if you've noticed, I haven't been highlighting any comments. It's because I'm not going live through StreamYard as I usually do. I'm going live through YouTube. Cough drops. That's why I'm like dealing with the cough drop. I'm waiting for people to come into this room. This is the biggest classroom that there is, I think. Do I think if we do get a Mal version of Anthology, they'll put Now and Then on it? I hope so. I would like that. Do you prefer early or later songs by the Stones? I like the Stones throughout all phases of their career. I like 60s, I like 70s, I like some 80s. I love the new album, Hackney Diamonds. I've mentioned that a million times. Hackney Diamonds is one of their very best albums, period. And I guess I prefer the earlier Stones if I had to pick, but I do like all types of Stones. Hello, Darren. What's going on? I'm not going to sing any Rolling Stones. No. Don't get angry at me. No, with me. Don't get angry with me. I'm not angry with you. That's the best I can do. Ringo at Radio City is just about sold out. I still have no tickets. If I decide to go, it will be last minute. And if I decide to go, I guess I'm going to be online getting tickets, if you get my drift. Wherever I can get them from, I don't care. Yeah, StreamYard. It's a streaming platform. Yeah, it's my favorite streaming platform. Definitely the best album since Steel Wheels, Hackney Diamonds. Yeah, Hackney Diamonds, when it first came out, I played it a few times. Really, I mean, very few albums in my experience have I played and loved it from start to finish. Very few. And that includes a lot of solo Beatles albums I didn't love. right away. This could be my last Ringo show unless Paul and Ringo tour together. Dream on, Elliot. I guess that'll be your last Ringo show then. They're not going to do that, nor do I think they should. That's just Beatle fans like us, just not wanting to let it go, even though two are dead. I know it's not the Beatles, but favorite Rolling Stones song from the 70s? Oh, that's tough. Wild Horses, Angie, Miss You. First ones that come to mind. Through the Past Darkly is one of the earlier Stones albums, the first Stones albums, that I got. Yes, I love Ruby Tuesday. Ruby Tuesday is one of my all-time top 5 or top 10 Stones songs. It's very hard to list them because I like so many of them. Do I revisit demos and outtakes when they're in a box set? Recently, I revisited the Abbey Road bonus features. So I do. Okay. Can't wait till this cough drop's done. It's very hard to speak with a cough drop. She would never say where she came from. There you go, Darren. A little bit of Stones, more Stones for you to make your ears bleed. Take a second and hit that like button. Absolutely. Take a second and hit the like button. Take 2 seconds and hit the S with the line through it, too. What's my favorite song for Kiss? That's easy. I was made for loving you, baby. There you go. But also, Strutter is one of my favorites. I do like Beth. Yep, the Lifesaver routine, sure. Abbott and Costello. I don't know if I could do a good Mike Love. I don't know. I like Heaven's on Fire too. I don't know the words. Feel the heat taking you high. Heaven's on fire. Oh yeah, I only know the Beatles, right, folks? Howdy. That's a big lot. That's a big giant howdy. Am I excited for the flea markets? Not especially. Not especially. I'm going to go to some of the flea markets, I'm sure, but. Oh, I thought you were talking about the Lifesaver gag with Abbott and Costello in the movie The Naughty 90s. Abbott falls over the ship and says to Lou, throw me a lifesaver. And he goes, you want me to throw you a lifesaver? He goes, all right. He takes a little thing out and he goes, here you are, catch it. I thought that's what you meant. Favorite Carpenter song is A Song for All We Know. For All We Know. I think it's written by Paul Williams. That's the lifesaver scene that I know. I don't know if that's, maybe there's another lifesaver scene that I don't know. But that's the one I thought of immediately. I don't think I know Firehouse. It's the song by Kiss. Dweezil Zappa. What a name. Hey, Dweezil. uh, it's a small world, Chrissy, small world. Thelma Todd falls out of the boat when trying to get the football. Okay. Papers with Groucho's Jack. She calls for life. Oh, that's what it is. That's yes. It's the same thing then with Abbott and Costello. Yeah. Yes, I like ABC by the Jackson Five as well. That's my childhood. Jackson Five, very very popular then. Looks like that throw me a lifesaver routine has been around a while. Yeah, I'm not a big Marx Brothers fan. I mean, I've come to appreciate them. Believe it or not, I think my favorite Marx Brothers film was two of them: A Night at the Opera, and it's probably my favorite one, and also Duck Soup. Those are probably my two favorites. Oh, I have some choppy sound. Do I have choppy sound on my audio, folks? Everybody else concur? Um, Hold on, folks. I don't like the whole Hotel California. I like a few songs on it. And I'm sick of the title song, Hotel California. Hotel California is one of those songs that were ruined by radio over exposure. But it's a great song. It's a great song. Oh, that's hilarious. I got to say, that thing about the people, the people that went up into space thinking they were astronauts, they're not astronauts. They went up and down in 10 minutes. And hey, look, that's cool. I think it's a really cool thing. They had a cool ride. That's it. So I saw a joke somewhere. Some amusement park rides are longer than the little space blip they took. I'm not putting them down for it. I think it's cool. Just don't over blow it. You're not space explorers. That kind of thing. RX RIX Spitter says my comp sound is good, so I know it's not on my end. The only thing is, you're the only one saying that there's a sound problem. That's the problem. I'm sure you have a good system. The Scorpions, no, I couldn't care less about the Scorpions. I mean, I know like the one of their big hits. That's about it. Hello, Gary. Favorite song by the Eagles? Oh, yeah. At this point, I don't know. Those songs too are very very overplayed. Maybe Take It Easy. There's a lot of songs I like by the Eagles, but they're so overplayed. Uh, I love Elton John. Elton John, I like a lot of stuff. It's a little choppy sound wise. Well, there's something I can do to maybe fix that, but I got to step out of frame a little bit here to do that. I don't even know if it's going to help. Don't even know if this is going to help. That's going to do anything. Elton John, it's really hard. If you want to look back at my videos, I did do a kind of a countdown, top however many Elton John songs. First ones that come to mind as my favorite Elton John songs are Daniel, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Benny and the Jets. Those are like my first ones. Philadelphia Freedom. I like Philadelphia Freedom Well, it may not be one of his best songs. I like it because it reminds me of my youth. Oh, Elton John in general reminds me of my youth. Good times. Let's see. Sound is breaking up. Hello, hello to people just getting here. Yeah. So if the audio's bad, let me know. I did a little bit of what I was able to do. Yeah, I like the song, Your Song. Yeah. I mean, I like the song's name, Rocket Man. Your Song, Crocodile Rock. I mean, Honky Cat. Don't Go Breaking My Heart. Empty Garden. You notice the ones I'm mentioning are the hits, of course, the biggies. I don't have the soundtrack album Friends. Yeah, it's funny. I was at the record store yesterday. There were some albums I almost bought and I didn't. Again, it's a little bit funny. It's not that bad, Jeff Davidson says. I'm sorry it's bad at all. It shouldn't be bad. You know, I don't know. Don't know why it's bad. Hopefully it's just this connection with the YouTube streaming. Do 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 do. Def Leppard. I love the song "Bring It On the Heartbreak," but I love that song. Some songs by Squeeze, sure. Um, is Danny ever coming back? Well, again, I opted not to do those shows, but it's got nothing personal to do. I've got no problem with Danny. Love Danny, and he loves me. As corny as it sounds, there's no problem between us. I just don't want to do the more, I don't know what you call it, wacky kind of anything goes. Let's see what happens kind of thing. I mean, at least not right now. I don't feel like it. Maybe eventually I'll go back. Thanks. Jeff Davidson says he liked the Bob Dylan discussion. Yeah, check out yesterday's live stream. Had a good Bob Dylan discussion. Not all of it was. So those who hate Dylan, don't worry, it's not all Dylan. But those who might want to hear it, Tom Hunyadi and I got into a Dylan discussion. Tom went to see Bob Dylan for his first time. James, I did not pick up any of those Beatles EPs that I showed. I made a short film. You might want to check it out, folks, where I showed some Beatles imports EPs that were at my record store, and I almost bought them. But the truth of the matter is, number one, I don't know if I have them, which ones I have or not. It's getting to that point. You're like, I think I've seen these before. I don't know if I have them, some of them. Have I reviewed the new Lennon Live LP? Yes, I did. The Record Store Day EP, extended play. Yeah. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I like it. It's definitely improved sound from John Lennon Live in New York City that came out in 1986. Greg likes the show I do, or loves the show I do with Ken Michaels. I think you're talking about talk, more talk. We're taking a break again from that. It's slow going, but we'll get it back eventually. I do not sing well. Oh, come on, come on! I can't sing worth a damn. But Believe me, I could really make everybody's ears bleed if I tried to sing. No, I don't think Ken Michaels doesn't have any more of an inside information about the anthology than the rest of us in the Beatles circle do. No. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you're watching a complete unknown Blu-ray, and because of that, you missed the Dylan discussion. I do like that version of Come Together also. Come Together, it's my favorite moment of the concert, even though it's the same old thing, right? All the Beatles, everybody's like, oh, how many Beatles songs are you going to do? I hate admitting that that's my favorite performance of the one to one. Do you find it easy to pass on collectibles as you get older, more selective? It's happening. It's happening. It's getting easier. It's getting easier. And I'm always going to collect. I love collecting. It's in my blood, and I make no apologies for it. However, you start to just see more as you get older. It has to do with how much time behind you and how much time is in front of you and how much stuff you have that you can't really go back to. That's why I like collecting things that are more, I don't know, in your face. Like, when you see me in my Beatles room and I can see all the posters and the collectibles and the displays and trinkets, that's more enjoyable. You know. Hello, Richard James. Got the store day version is just an EP, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. The record store day one is an EP, but it's got I don't know. It's got "Don't Worry, Kyoko" on it. If you care about Yoko, I mean, I'm glad it's on there, but some people might not care. And it's got I forget which version. I think there's the version of "Well, Well, Well" is not the one that New York City. It's a different show, and sound is improved. It is, definitely. I say Sean and his team went in there and remastered it, remixed it. I'm sorry, I say remastered too loosely. Remixed it, probably remixed it and remastered it. Um, yes, I have the early Beatles EPs. One of them is called, I think, 4x4. I think the other one's called Four by the Beatles or something. But whatever it is, I have the EPs. You know. Yeah, All My Love, I love that song by Zeppelin. Absolutely. It's funny, I always associate All My Love with my senior year of high school. In Through the Outdoor came out when I was a senior in high school. And when I was taking my driver's education classes, and learning to drive, that was on the radio a lot. Yeah, James Farley says, it's good to have all your things around you so you can look at them and nod your head and say, yeah, I like that. Exactly. It's gotten to the point where, if you have a lot of vinyl albums or 45s, you put them in a box or you put them on shelves, and unless you're going to make a diligent effort to take them all off and look at them and flip through them and play them and stuff, you're not really utilizing them or seeing them even, you know? But I still like collecting. I'm going to be making a new Beatles finds video fairly soon. And I still got some new stuff like that. I got a vinyl thing. I won't tell you what it is. And I got a CD box thing. So there's still stuff I get. Okay, what was the highs and lows of the Beatle Fest for you? Well, of course, this is getting tiring, but The high is always just simply seeing friends. It's a get together, a conference where you can see your buddies that are here, the ones that are on YouTube, the ones that make videos, Alan C. Records, Mr. Beatles Pro Tom, and Marvin G, and just all the people. Not everybody can make it this year. And then the other ones are people like you. The highlights are seeing the viewers, people that say, "Hey, nice to see you." One of the biggest highlight was actually getting to meet Angie. To see Angie and meet her and talk to her was great. She's one of my nicest viewers. And also a highlight for me is whenever I get to go and do a panel and discuss the Beatles and get up there and discuss with my friends and have people in the audience. That's great too. You know, I'm not trying to cop out here because if you know me well, I'll tell you low points. Oh, if something sucks, I'll tell you. So I'm searching my brain here for a low point of the fest for Beatles fans, this last one. Oh, well, at one point, I guess the fire alarm went off Sunday morning for a little while. It was a false alarm. Nothing was wrong. How's that for a low point? Yeah, I wish that these new mixes from Sean didn't eliminate the horns. John specifically had saxophones on certain songs. It's so hard, etc. So it was clearly his intent. Exactly. John liked saxophone. John liked the horns. But it was left on when I think Paul Hicks maybe was the one who remastered the Imagine album. He left the saxophones on. Stuff like I Don't Want to Be a Soldier and It's So Hard, right? But yeah, Sean wanted them gone on the song One Day at a Time, which, as I say, I am very vocal. I don't like when Sean does that. So I give the good points of what I like, and I say things I don't care for that are done. So I gotta catch up here on some comments. Gotta go back. Okay. Joseph Gordon, hello. Love all your videos on the Beatles and all your collectibles. Keep up the great work. Okay, and you're in a band called The Worms, WURMS. Yes, they still do the Battle of the Bands. I used to like the Battle of the Beatle Bands when I was younger and used to go when I was like 20, 21 years old. I don't care about that. It's still there. They still do it. It's for those that want it, but I'm not really crazy about it. My favorite Charlton Heston performance. I think you named the two best ones. Ben-Hur is probably my favorite Charlton Heston performance, and Planet of the Apes is another great performance. I think those are his best performances. Those are my two favorites. But he gives a good performance in a movie called Will Penny, a western. So, taking a break here for some of this water that's laden with microplastics. Let's suck in that plastic. Those plastic molecules. I'm going to put my glasses up again, so maybe they'll stay up a little higher and I can see you better. We shall see what we shall see. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, suck on that plastic, yeah. James Farley used to go to all the Beatle Fest at the Secaucus Hotel. Yeah, those were great. Yeah, Heston was really good on Saturday Night Live with the Apes spoof. What Yoko songs are your favorites? Too many to name. Too many. Listen, the Snow is Falling, Walking on Thin Ice, Goodbye Sadness, Midsummer New York, Remember Love. I'm Moving On. You get the feeling? There's a lot of Yoko songs. Now I like that song, Looking Through My Hotel Window, whatever. I don't know if I have that exactly right. Sleepless Night. I'm sorry about that, James. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. That you can't go to the fest anymore. Yep, 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 yep. Every time I drink from a plastic cup, I think of those microplastics. I've been using glasses more often. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you with that. It's in my mind. Yes, I like the Bee Gees. I didn't know the Bee Gees until Saturday Night Fever. When I was 15, my sister loved disco, and she was thrilled, and she bought the Staying Alive uh, Saturday Night Fever Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, and I liked it. I never heard the Bee Gees before, but I was only 15. Give me a break. And of course, then I realized, oh shit, the Bee Gees were around in the 60s. How Deep Is Your Love is a great song. Yeah, I don't really know if it's called, I called that Yoko song Age 39, but then somebody told me the song is not Age 39. It's actually called Looking for My Hotel Room Window, which is on Yoko's album Approximately Infinite Universe. So I don't know which is which. James Farley has the same cup as me, only his is pink. What's my favorite Eric Clapton song? Well, can I say Layla? Or is that not really? Because Layla's Derek and the Dominoes. I Shot the Sheriff. I love After Midnight. I love Let It Rain. I love. It's in the way that you use it. I love. Oh, that wasp is starting to get around. Go back to that window, wasp. Hang out by the window, please. Anyway, Tears in Heaven, Wonderful Tonight, Lay Down Sally, uh, Cocaine, like a lot of Eric Clapton. Thanks everybody for being here. Uh, Appreciate the conversation. Happy Easter, Chuck. Yeah, that's the airplane scene. Yeah, I love disco now. As I say, as I've said in the past, I should say, when disco first came out, I thought it was kind of embarrassing, kind of like cringy and a little silly. Now I love it. I just think it's really good. You're welcome, Greg. I like James Taylor as well. Yeah, Fire and Rain is probably my favorite. Eric Clapton has a new album out. Folks, I mean, I'd like to do these more often, but maybe I'll try doing them more often. See, what I want to do, I want to get everybody involved. There are people that can only come here early in the day, early in the morning, and there are people who can only come here later. You know what I mean? So I want to make everybody part of it. But I don't want to wear out my welcome, and I don't want it to be too much of the same old. I mean, how many times can you go over the same material? But today we're going over different material. So let me go up here. Do I like the Hollies? I like some stuff by the Hollies, sure. I mean, I don't love them enough to get all their work. I probably like stuff like I like the air that I breathe and Carrie Ann. The ones the biggies. Have I seen Beetle Brad? Many times. I got to do a live stream from the park. Well, yeah, I may. I was thinking about going in the park. I want to make another video on what you might call my retirement update. I have a retirement vlog, and I've got some retirement thoughts. Uh, in a few days. I'll be retired 3 years already. I can't believe it. And I got some thoughts on that. I do love Herman's Hermits. I do. Glad I got a chance to finally see Herman's Hermits a couple of years ago, and he was nice enough to come out the back exit, at midnight, and sign some autographs and take some photos. So he's a very, very nice guy. Hi, Jack. Yeah, well, the thing is, all this Philadelphia Soul, I like a lot of stuff by everybody there. The OJs, Spinners, Stylistics, Delphonic, all those names you're mentioning. Uh, I like a lot of that stuff. Sprinkled tracks here and there. Any word on your move to the new place? I'm still waiting. Because we're waiting on a couple. We're waiting on this other couple. And, I just have to wait. And I'm going to wait sort of as long as it takes. I kind of have a time in my mind where it's going to be the limit, where I'm not waiting anymore. But that's not for some time yet. Because when we do this idea that we have in mind, it will really be financially beneficial, and it'll be a really good move. Do I like Jewel? Well, I like the song. I forget the song. What was that song? You Were Made for Me, and I Was Made for You. I think she had a couple of songs I like. So she sings very well, but I only really know the popular songs. I like her voice. Hello, Tim. Was there ever a proper model mix Yellow Submarine? I believe so. Taking a break from the cooking is Robert P., who says, we retired in 2022 also. I can't believe it's 3 years already. And all I could say is retirement is not at all it was cracked up to be. Isn't that nuts? I mean, for a man like me that hated my job and couldn't wait to get the hell out of there for nearly 30 years, it's amazing to me that, I would rather be free. I'd rather watch paint dry than work. Or I should say, I'd rather watch paint dry than work at a place that I don't like. I mean, if you want to consider what I'm doing here, work, making videos, editing them together, that's fun work. That's work that I enjoy. Creative. I know you like noise around your place. Do you think you can adapt to slower life? Yeah, I think I could. Well, you say noise. I don't know. Well, let's two things. I don't like noise. I don't like noise at all. But if you mean like that, there's civilization around you, people around. Yes, I do like that. I don't like noise, but I like being around people. I don't like being isolated. Which do I like more, silly love songs or Good Night Tonight? I like silly love songs way more than I like Good Night Tonight. Although I do also like Good Night Tonight. I like them both. Hopefully the market hasn't made your retirement rough. I'm doing well. No, well, if anything, I would say it's better than it's been in the past. You know what I mean? It was worse in 2022, I think, for me, 2023. Uh, wasn't Well, Yellow Submarine, the song Yellow Submarine was in mono. It came out in '66 originally on the Revolver album. But yeah, the White Album, I think, was the last mono album. Do I ever look back and say, how the hell did I do that? Many times, but ask me to remember when I can't. All I can tell you is I know, I had an illness when I was 22 for 5 years. I had something, and I held it, and I handled it. I did it. Of course, well, Chrissy's asking me all these people, these artists that I love. Simon and Garfunkel, absolutely, I love Simon and Garfunkel. The song Kokomo is not one of my favorites by the Beach Boys, but it's okay. I don't hate it. It's okay. Kokomo. When you go to Maine, do you like the quiet up there? It's nice for a break. You know that old saying. It's nice for a break. It's a good break. Let's put it that way. Edward says, I've been retired since 2009, and it gets worse every day. Friends and relatives dropping like flies. I do look forward to Meals on Wheels. I enjoy the scenery much more. Yeah. When are you going to do some traveling? When I like to travel. I don't like to travel. Simple as that, Robert. I don't enjoy it. Which I guess is a godsend, because if I really love to travel, then I need a lot of money and I have to be away all the time. I don't really need a vacation as much as I like a staycation. I don't know, but I'm not big on traveling. It's that simple. Gary says, I've been retired 19 years. I never regretted my decision for 1 second. Life without pressure is a joy. Well, that's the thing. I have a lot of pressure. I got to remember that, Gary, when I do my video vlog about retirement, the next one. I'm going to call it Retirement 3 Years In. And I thought my biggest pressure in life was my job, no doubt about it. And I still have pressures. That's bizarre. I don't even know where they're coming from. Sometimes I'm like, why do I feel, this is life. Life is not easy for any of us. And when you say there's always something to do to keep my interest, well, me too, obviously. I love movies. I love music, right? I love the Beatles. I love making videos. Do you ever look back and admit that disco was way better than people gave it credit for? Absolutely, absolutely. And that's I kind of said that a little bit here in this discussion at some point, because disco seemed really silly. It seemed really like, I don't know what words to use that I can use. Well, I'll say silly, silly, a little like la-di-da. But now I think it's great music, and I was great music, and it was happy music. It was uplifting, upbeat. Let's get out and dance. Let's party. Let's get together. What's the hate about that? I do like the song "The Boxer" by Simon and Garfunkel, but it's lower on my list of favorites. Let's put it that way. Okay, Eric, I got your story about the White Album and James Taylor record. Oh boy, I hear that Wasp is now. There's two of them. Wait a minute. Oy vey. And you know what the worst part is? I like to hang out in this room on Tuesday nights. Like, I have to come back here Tuesday nights. And this is bad. There's two wasps here. Oh my God. Anyway, my ex-record store partner passed in January. I'm sorry about that. The older we get, not fun, but enjoy every day. That's what I try to do. Enjoy every day. When I move, do I think I'm going to get a dog? Not on your life. Not if I can help it. And that's not because I hate dogs, but I don't really feel like walking a dog. There's a lot of bills, vet bills and things you got to worry about, Wow. I'm in here with Not one, but two of these things. Oy. All right. What's your fantasy Beatles live in the '70s lineup? How about Nicky Hopkins? Well, Billy Preston on keys is always great because he played with them on Get Back, Let It Be stuff. But Nicky Hopkins is good. Wow. Whoa. Yeah, there's two of them. I thought there were three. No, wait a minute. There are three of them, I think. I'm not kidding. There's one. For the most part, they're hanging around by the windows where the sunlight is. Oh, God, get out of here. Anyway, Laurel and Hardy, do you prefer the shorts or the full-length films? It depends. I like a good shorts when they're good, and I like the feature films when the feature films are good. I don't love all their feature films, but some of them, like Sons of the Desert, is great. Uh, and I forget which other ones I like. Out West, way out West. Okay, I'm reading the comments. The thing I didn't like about disco at the time was that it seemed like radio stations were pushing it on us. Well, music, I don't see a problem with that because if that's the music, that's the music. Whatever was popular at the time gets played on the radio, I guess. Oh, geez. I don't like hearing these noises, buzzing and noises like of wasps, like bouncing against windows and things. A small issue with the '70s and '80s music. It does seem dated. Robert, I don't understand that, and I never will. So what if it sounds dated? I don't understand. When people, I have to make a rant video about that. And Robert P, please remember, my friend, when I make that video, I'm not singling you out, Robert. There's a lot of people that say that. And the reason I say that is because do you like the music from today, 2025? Do you like today's sound? If the answer is no, I don't really like today's music, no. Then why do you want it to sound not dated? Why would you want the '70s and '80s to sound fresh like 2025? You don't like 2025, do you? I don't know. I never get that argument. If the '50s sound like the '50s, that's when they were made. The '80s sound like the '80s, that's when they were made. And I do like Babes in Toyland, aka March of the Wooden Soldiers. Okay, I think am I caught up? I think I'm caught up. Yeah, I don't understand that. Like somebody like, well, yeah, my girlfriend does that too. I mean, we'll watch like a show. Say we're watching the Brady Bunch or something, and they'll come in wearing '70s clothes, and she'll go, "Oh, well, so '70s," and I'm like, "Yeah, so '70s. The thing was made in the '70s. What do you want to look like 2030s or something?" I don't know. It's tough being me. Dealing with people. It really is. Okay, where are we at here? What time is 10:31? I got at least an hour to be here, 45 minutes. Um, Richie Blackmore turned 80. Am I a fan? Not really, not especially, but I don't dislike him. I hate him or anything. I understand, Robert P says, but I do hear more of the '60s to early '70s being redone and not remake of the '80s. Yeah, there are a lot of people that the '80s have a bad reputation for some reason. A lot of people don't like the '80s. I mean, music and stuff. And I gotta say, even myself, to an extent, if I'm watching like a movie from the '80s or a television series from the '80s, and I see the hairstyles and things, even I say to myself, "Wow, that's kind of weird." The '80s seem weird. The '60s and '70s, not so much. I don't know. My wife and I have been watching The Honeymooners Classic 39. We have no problem with it being in the '50s. Well, exactly. I mean, you're watching a show and you say to yourself, this is the 1950s, When you watch a Western, you say, this is the 1880s. It's not the 21st century. When you watch a biblical movie about God or Christ or Moses, it's the Bible era, biblical times. It's not today. The same thing if you're watching a 1980s movie. It takes place in the 80s. I always ask myself when I watch a movie, what's the time and setting? Where are we at in this? When does it occur? I think a lot of people, for some reason, when they watch a movie, they kind of like relate it to it as if it's happening now, kind of. Um, Unless it's a futuristic science fiction movie or time travel. They think you have to tell yourself, this is where this takes place. This is the when. I do like the song "Honesty" by Billy Joel. Yes, I do. Music of the '80s was weird because a lot of the rock and R&B just went completely pop, very watered down. But man, the clubbing scene looked amazing back then. It was. It was. I went to the clubs in the '80s, 1980 to like 85ish. Great times. Best times of my life in a lot of ways. Good morning, Robbie. How are you doing? Robbie's Detroit Vinyl. The new Moses series on Netflix is very good. I haven't seen it. I was watching some TV last night, and that girl was on there. I forget her name. Help me. It was NCIS New Orleans, NCIS New Orleans. That hot girl was on there. It's weird because is her name Vanessa something or something with a V? I mean, I've seen her. She's in the movie Death Proof. I mean, it's weird because this. Would you say she's attractive? There's just something about her look, the look in her eyes or her face. There's something about her attitude in her face that I really liked. Hmm. Edward is getting religious in his old age. I think that's a good idea. Spiritual, as I say. I see those damn wasps. Stephen loves the '80s, but I see young kids leaning towards Beatles. Not much '80s. Well, there's some that like the '80s. I know some young people like the '80s, but a lot of them do love the '60s and the Beatles and stuff. Yeah. Now, see, this is what I mean. Like Greg says, I love The Sopranos. Only some of it looks outdated. Now, when you say outdated, when you watch The Sopranos, it takes place, I think, did they start making The Sopranos in the year 1999? The Sopranos takes place in 1999, 2000, in the early 2000s, am I right? That's where it takes place. It's not supposed to feel like it's happening today in 2025. You're not going to watch The Sopranos and have, I guess, you know, smartphones, right? Or did they have smartphones in them? I don't remember. Well, that's a good example too. Eric is talking about kids today would be puzzled by watching Dirty Harry running around to answer payphones as directed by the kidnapper. But you could not if you say to yourself, "This is whatever." Like this was the 1970s. This story, the Dirty Harry story that you're talking about, the setting or the time is 1970s. Therefore, that's what you had to do back then. You had to go to payphones, get to the payphones, get the messages. That's what it was. Why sit there and say this is so outdated? It's not supposed to take place in 2025. It takes place in 1972 or whatever year they were. Gloria. Finally, you got a song that I'm not sure about. "Glory of Love" by Peter Cetera. I'm not sure of that. I love the song "Living in the Limelight" by Peter Cetera. Um, the one with the black hair. She's got black hair. Yeah. And, I think dark hair. Yeah. Yes. What's my opinion on Zach Starkey and the Who? The thing that happened, I don't really know the whole story. All I know is that apparently Zach was going to get canned from the Who, get fired, and it was ridiculous. I thought that they were doing that to him, and then all of a sudden, like in less than a day or 24 hours, he was allowed back in. So I don't know what the hell happened with that. Do you have a soft spot for the 80s because of the nightlife? It looks as fun as the 70s with the discotheques. It was fun. I was there. It was fun. If you're gonna go club hopping, the best times were, I guess, the discotheques in the 70s, which I wasn't old enough. And then in the 80s, when I was in my 20s, great times. I mean, that quirky music. "Sweet Dreams Are Made of This." "She Blinded Me with Science." Michael Jackson's Thriller album, Modern English, "I Melt with You," Total Quelo, "I Eat Cannibals." I'm trying to think of some of the big songs back then. Always Something There to Remind Me. These early '80s type songs, "Cars" by Gary Newman. This kind of electronic-y stuff is perfect for the nightlife and the clubs. This is interesting. Welsh Backgammon says, "Strip away the synthesizers, and most 80s hits are the 60s hits in disguise." I like that. I like the synthesizers. I love the synthesizer. Do they have any festivals in your town? Well, when they do, my girlfriend's usually good at finding them. There was a festival I went to. I did a video recently, last summer or so, whenever it was, summer or fall, when I went to a kind of festival, which was nice. Yes, The Sopranos started in 1999. There you go. To be totally honest, the worst part of the '80s was the puffed up perm hair, almost as bad as the beehive. Yeah, that hair was bizarre. Yeah, I agree. I never had a pager. No, it's like one comedian said that today's kids won't understand the song "Operator" by Jim Croce. Well, they got to know. They got to investigate it. When the song was recorded. Oh, you knew who I was talking about? Of that thing, a CSI New Orleans or whatever. With phone booths almost all gone, where does Superman change? Well, yeah, that's true. Do you like Marlon Brando? Not especially. I mean, I remember getting into some movies I was watching. I liked, On the Waterfront, Streetcar Named Desire. Of course, my favorite is probably The Godfather. Is probably my favorite Marlon Brando movie. I saw some really lousy. I forget what it was called. Marlon Brando movie once, and I thought it was terrible in my opinion. I forget what it was called. The Long Day or something. Dark Night or something. Yeah, yeah, yeah. How are you getting on with your Elvis box sets? I'm not. Just like everything else, I'm thinking of as I'm talking here, I'm thinking of all the things I'm not watching or listening to. There's just too much. Let's be honest, there's just too much. First of all, we were talking here about Laurel and Hardy a little bit, and I just bought Laurel and Hardy's silent films in a box. I watched like one or two, and I stopped them. You know, But I did. But I am getting Lost in Space done. I'm almost finished. 83 episodes. I probably got about 13 more to go. Okay. Do you think that we will see the Rubber Soul Deluxe Edition this year? No, I don't. I don't think we're going to get Rubber Soul this year. I had a big debate with somebody that didn't understand that I said that. I said it's possible. I mean, it could happen through a miracle. Maybe they'll do it, but I don't really believe it's going to happen this year. That's just my gut feeling. Not that I know anything behind the scenes. Okay, I'm reading your comments. Just because I don't comment on everything doesn't mean I'm not reading them. Believe me. Rocky 3 or 4. Oh, I love Rocky 3. I didn't like Rocky 4 too much. Rocky 3, I saw it in the movie theater and I loved it at the time. Now sometimes when I see Rocky 3, I think it's kind of corny in some ways, but I loved it in the movie theater. 1982. 20 years old. Uh, Robert P. says, I can't get my grandkids to watch any movie all the way through. Attention span gone to hell. That's sad, but it's not uncommon. It's to be expected to some point. I thought Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea was a good series, James Farley says. I've never been into it. I just not. I mean, I like Irwin Allen with Lost in Space and Land of the Giants a little bit, but Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea never got into. Do I like the first Rocky? Yeah. As a matter of fact, the first Rocky is going to be at a theater around close, pretty close. I could drive there. I don't think I'm going to be seeing it though. You know, timing isn't right. Did they say Rubber Soul was coming out, or is it wishful thinking? It's wishful thinking. It's not coming out that we know of. But the only thing was, at one point, way after the Revolver Deluxe Edition came out, Giles Martin let slip that Rubber Soul would be the next one. That's all. That's all we know. But nobody's ever said when. You know. Yeah, Sylvester Stallone's new show, Tulsa King, is great. I've seen clips from it. It looks fun. Well, fun. It looks interesting. And I was thinking of doing a blind buy and buying season one and seeing how it is. How did you feel when rock bands jumped on the disco bandwagon? Heart of Glass, Do You Think I'm Sexy? Miss You, I Was Made for Loving You, Shine. Every one of those songs you mentioned, I love. Let's put it this way. I love Heart of Glass. I love that song. I love Do You Think I'm Sexy? Love that song. Uh, I love Miss You. I love I Was Made for Loving You. Uh, I don't know why I can't think what Shine a Little Love is. But so I had no problem with it. No problem at all. How big is your TV? It's a 55-inch television. Anything you remembered as great, but then watched again and didn't enjoy it all? Um, Passion of the Christ. I thought the first time I saw Passion of the Christ, I thought it was a really powerful work, and now I just think it's gratuitous score. Really, I still think it's a decent movie, but I don't really want to see it anymore. First time, I appreciated it more. My son refuses to watch black and white movies because he thinks that everything was in black and white in real life. Boy, oh boy. He's missing a lot of good movies. Hopefully, he'll get more sophisticated as he gets older. Unfortunately, I find myself watching shorts way too much late in the evening. I hear you. What is your most memorable TV series finale? My number one is St. Elsewhere. Yeah, I know what you're saying. St. Elsewhere, when the autistic kid is looking at a snow globe and you realize the entire series was just in his mind. Well, similarly, there was that show Newhart with Bob Newhart, and the last episode had him waking up in bed with Suzanne Plachette, who was his wife in his 1970s series, The Bob Newhart Show. So he wakes up and he says, a lot of you have seen this, but for those who don't know, Newhart was a show that was on, when was it on? The 90s, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s? I don't know. A newer show. And he did an old show in the 70s called The Bob Newhart Show. And anyway, he wakes up in bed. He got the actress Suzanne Plachette, who played his wife way back in the 70s, to do a cameo. That they wake up and the whole new series was in his was like not real. It never happened. He said they're waking up in their bed from the 70s and saying, I had this dream that I was at this resort, or working at this resort, or whatever it was, and all these weird people. And the whole thing was just a nightmare. Yes, I like the first Rambo movie. I've seen just about all of them, and I think the first one's the best, First Blood. What do you think about Larry King? I didn't really care for Larry King. I never thought he was very good. I didn't like him too much. I'd watch Larry King just because of the guests he had on. If he had a guest I wanted to see, I'd watch the Larry King show, even though he wasn't my favorite interviewer. I didn't watch for him, obviously. I watched for the guests, I'm going to be ending this pretty soon in a few minutes, folks, because I got to get on my way soon. Hello, John Alelo. Happy Easter to you. Oh, okay. I know Electric Light Orchestra. I know ELO. I like ELO, but for some reason I didn't know Shine a Little Love. I probably know the song if I heard it. Maybe I just don't know the title. That's all I'm saying with that. It's a good day to watch Ben-Hur. Yeah, I've seen Ben-Hur so many times now, including at the theater a few times. Big screen movie. Was Jeff Lynne a good thing or a disaster for the wider Beatles? He was a great thing for the Beatles, as far as I'm concerned. Well, specifically, a great thing for George Harrison. I like Jeff Lynne. I like Jeff Lynne's production. He saved George Harrison's career with the Cloud 9 album. Granted, the songs on Cloud 9 were top-notch. George's voice was top-notch for Cloud 9. The songs were top-notch. So right there was good, but Jeff Lynne, the final ingredient was having Jeff Lynne's production. Robert P. would like to see A Hard Day's Night in color, a good version, like It's a Wonderful Life, and we still have both. I got to admit, I always say this, I have a curiosity to see what A Hard Day's Night would look like in really good, well-done color, where it looks like it's real. But having said that, A Hard Day's Night, so much of its appeal is the fact that it's in black and white. England is, rainy, and Liverpool is dank, and, that kind of thing. And I think black and white suits it. Yes, you can say that Suzanne Plachette was hot. Yes, you can. Okay. Do you like Bryan Adams? Yeah, I do. My favorite Bryan Adams song is Heaven. Is my favorite Bryan Adams song. Okay, I'm getting ready to stop now, folks. So I'm going to do that. Would I be shocked if sometime in New York City the album was not included in the 9 CD box set? No, I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be disappointed. You see, it's weird because, I like that album Sometime in New York City, even though it's not John's best. And if I was going to rank John's albums, Sometime in New York City would not be in the top 4 or 5, maybe. But I like the album. I think it's underrated. And I want it to come out. And I want it to come out on its own. I don't want them to have to take Sometime in New York City and kind of like smuggle it into the one-to-one box set. Shh, don't tell anybody it's in there. I don't really want them to do that. But so I'd be kind of disappointed if it wasn't in there. But by the same token, as long as it gets released one way or the other, I'd be happy. I want it released, and I think it will be at some point. When, I don't know. How, I don't know, but I think it'll get done. Do I like Don Imus? Eh, I could take. I was able to take or leave Don Imus. Well, that wasp was coming close. One of the wasps. Get out of here, buddy. Go back to that window. Uh, okay, everybody. What's your favorite McCartney of Archives box? I'm gonna go with Ram off the top of my head. And Robert P, $5. Thank you. I feel guilty because Robert P was nice enough to give me a little donation here. Thank you so much, Robert. And feel a little funny that I was kind of like busting your chops about when we were discussing. What were we discussing? Oh, the idea of things being kind of dated and older and stuff like that. And I said I was going to do a rant video about it, but thank you. Hey, there's still time, there's still time for other people to join Robert if you want. Okay. Thank you, Chrissy. Thank you, everybody. Uh, I'm laughing. It might be one of Yoko's flies up there. But anyway, no, seriously, thank you, everybody, for taking the time. I didn't plan on doing this, but I'm glad I did. It worked out well. So, cheers to everybody. And I'll talk soon. Bye.